SS Kamloops, 1924 to 1927. Kamloops, Part 1, Construction. In 1924, Kamloops was built by the Furness Shipbuilding Company in Durham, England. On July 5, 1924, Kamloops successfully completed her sea trials. After completing her sea trials, Kamloops began serving her intended role as a Great Lakes freighter. Kamloops operated for the Canada Steamship Lines. Kamloops had a length of 76 meters and did not have a Marconi wireless system installed on board. Kamloops, Part 2, A Short Career. Throughout her career, Kamloops transported her cargo to several ports along the Great Lakes without incident. Being a Great Lakes freighter, the Canada Steamship Lines frequently operated Kamloops late into the brutal Great Lakes winter season. The company's goal was to deliver as much cargo as possible before the winter ice would make navigation on the Great Lakes impossible. On December 2, 1926, while sailing on the St. Mary's River, Kamloops became trapped in pack ice. Fortunately, Kamloops would only stay trapped in the ice for 9 days before being dislodged on December 11, 1926. After being released from the ice, Kamloops resumed her intensive commercial service. However, by pushing the ship to its limits, Kamloops' hull would slowly begin to weaken over time. Little did anyone know that in a little less than a year from that point, Kamloops' career would come to a mysterious end. Kamloops, Part 3, Final Voyage. On December 1, 1927, Kamloops was docked at Port Colborne, Ontario. Commanded by Captain William Bryan, the ship was loaded with a cargo of salt, candy, shoes, and building supplies. Afterwards, the ship left port. On board Kamloops during this voyage were 22 crew members. During the first few days of the voyage, the weather appeared to be calm. However, by December 3, 1927, the weather began to deteriorate. Because of this, Captain Bryan decided to wait out the poor weather and dock his ship at Whitefish Point. By December 5th, 1927, the weather had only further deteriorated. Every day the ship remained anchored at Whitefish Point. The Canada Steamship Lines would lose money. If Captain Bryan waited any longer, he feared that Kamloops would not be able to complete her crossing, putting his sea career in jeopardy. For these reasons, Kamloops departed Whitefish Point and set sail at the mercy of the Great Lakes. On the night of December 6, 1927, the Great Lakes freighter SS Quedagh was sailing near the rocky shoreline of Isle Royale. Afterwards, Quedagh spotted another freighter sailing on the horizon. Not having any Marconi wireless system on board, Quedagh sounded her foghorn several times to warn the other freighter about underwater rocks lurking in the area where they were sailing. Shortly afterwards, the crew of Quedagh lost sight of the freighter due to the fierce storm. Little did the crew of Quedagh know that the ship they had just attempted to warn was Kamloops, and that they were the last people to ever see the freighter afloat. Kamloops, Part 4, Disappearance. Initially, nobody was concerned about Kamloops' overdue status. It was believed that the freighter may have sought refuge again somewhere, or that the ship had simply run aground. However, as days passed, concern began to grow. On December 12, 1927, a search was launched to find the missing ship. Several ships were dispatched to search in the general location where it was believed Kamloops was sailing. However, nothing was found. By December 22, 1927, the search for Kamloops was called off. Kamloops was presumed to have been lost with all hands on Lake Superior. Kamloops, Part 5, Debris and Wreck. It would only be several months later that lifeless bodies, debris, and a message in a bottle from Kamloops were discovered scattered around Isle Royale. Despite these, they were not enough to determine the cause of Kamloops' loss. On August 21, 1977, a group of divers came across a wreck that lies at a depth of 80 meters below the surface of Lake Superior. However, they were not able to identify the ship's name. Despite that, the divers kept the discovery of the unidentified wreck a secret until they could find the ship's nameplate during their next dive. The following year, the same group of divers returned to the wreck of the unidentified ship. During that dive, they were able to find the ship's nameplate at her stern, which read Kamloops. Following the confirmation of the discovery of the wreck of Kamloops, the shipwreck was closely analyzed to determine what ultimately caused her to sink. However, no confirmed cause was ever attributed to the sinking. To this day, the cause of Kamloops' sinking remains unknown. Kamloops, Part 6, Conclusion. Although we might never be able to determine what caused the freighter to go down, we can gather that something went terribly wrong that caused Kamloops to sink with the loss of every soul on board. It must have been terrifying to the 22 souls on board Kamloops, knowing that their ship was sinking and that nobody was coming to their aid. Kamloops remains one of the greatest maritime mysteries of the Great Lakes. Rest in peace to all those who vanished along with Kamloops in December of 1927. May they never be forgotten.